everyone, I'm Sarah Jabari and I manage the North American marketing for Wedia, a SaaS provider for digital asset management and marketing resource management solutions. So today I'll be talking with Michael Iulo, Wedia's Vice President of Sales for North America. Michael comes from a marketing services background and has been in the marketing technology industry for more than 25 years. Hey Michael.
Hi Sarah, and thank you for your kind words.
So today we'll be talking about the evolving role DAM plays in the channel marketing environment and how companies are using DAM not only to create efficiencies and minimize risk, but also to drive channel sales. So my first question for Michael is, having worked with agencies, corporations, and marketing software companies, what do you see as the main pain points in channel partner relationships?
When we look at the relationship between channel partners and headquarters, the challenges tend to fall into four categories. The first of those four categories is easy to use technology, a brand portal that the channel partners can leverage, because at the end of the day, this is the scalable way of doing it in a digital economy. The alternative to that is that your marketing services team winds up supporting your channel partners, which is a very expensive solution. So that depends on what works for your specific industry. But I would say that more and more people are driving toward a technological solution. If your channel partners don't use that technological solution and they don't leverage your marketing services team, they tend to create the materials on their own. And if they create those materials on their own, that leads to a few other problems. The first of which is brand compliance. Now that they're creating the materials, they're not necessarily following your brand guidelines. And maybe even worse than that, what you'll see from time to time is they're mistakenly downloading images and information that might be being used by your competitors. Never a good situation to be in, of course. The third issue we tend to see is legal compliance. Your channel partners aren't marketers for the most part, and they also tend not to be attorneys. So all the issues that go along with trademarking and copywriting and promotional programs and a slew of other legal issues can rear their ugly heads. And last but not least, and maybe even the most important, is you have no metrics. So with this lack of analytics, it's very difficult to tell which assets, templates, and campaigns are working and which ones aren't working. And without this feedback loop, it's very difficult to know, from a strategic standpoint, which direction you should be moving.
Okay, so considering these four main pain points that you mentioned, the lack of legal compliance, brand consistency, metrics, and the need for easy-to-use tools, how does digital asset management play into the channel partner relationship?
Well, if you really want to understand how digital asset management has impacted channel marketing, I think you have to understand the history of digital asset management. Digital asset management started on the heels of the digital transformation of marketing and agency studios from a manual to a digital process. Once that transformation happened, they needed a place to store all the assets, all the digital assets that were being created. So digital asset management was really initially created as a place to store and archive assets. And what started to happen over time is the various studios use these file repositories that were digital asset management systems to share it with their other agencies and other people who are creating similar assets.
Okay, so it sounds like back then, digital asset management was really linked to production. How has DAM shifted over the years? What are we seeing today?
If you look at how digital asset management is being used today, you're really seeing the main use of it being sharing assets, right? And so when we talk about sharing assets, we see that there are a variety of asset types that need to be supported. There's images, there's videos, and there's text, and all those different types of documents come in a variety of formats. They're being leveraged not only by marketing, but they're also being leveraged across the enterprise by PR, human resources, and of course by the sales channels, media channels, and channel partners. And I think one of the challenges we're seeing, and moving a little bit more toward how it's going to start to look tomorrow, is we're seeing more and more integration of digital asset management into some of our existing tools, because there's so much proliferation of media channels and continued media fragmentation that automation needs to be brought to the table. And the way we're seeing that automation be brought to the table today is an integration of digital asset management into things like our product information management system or our customer relationship management system or our content management system. And I expect that trend is going to continue.
Thanks, Michael. My next question for you is, How would you suggest companies fully leverage their DAM when it comes to channel partners?
When you think about how you can leverage your DAM for your channel partners, I think you have to realize that your channel partners aren't marketers. So your DAM needs to be organized in a way that is going to make it as easy as possible for these channel partners to execute. So I think of it as taking them through a wizard, so to speak. When they come in there, they can see what the latest campaigns are. Maybe they can see an overview of the national calendar of what's happening from a marketing perspective, and then they have the ability to select the campaigns they want to use. Once they select those campaigns, all of the materials that are in that campaign that might require their information to be populated in there happens automatically. So the channel partners, name, address, website, all that information is automatically put in there. And then of course you might even want to auto-populate the actual promotion itself, the promotions that you think are going to best suit that level of channel marketer. And then of course, wherever you can, you want to integrate that into their platforms. So if you can, instead of giving them an asset, maybe there's a link to an asset, so they put that link to the asset into their social media or into their CMS. And then of course that might provide you the ability of tracking the effectiveness of those assets, not just to the portal, but beyond the portal to where those channel partners are actually using those assets and campaigns. And then of course, by having those analytics, you can start to see what works and what doesn't work. And of course, you're going to enhance what works and kills what does not work. And I think one of the important things as well is you need to have your channel marketing professionals involved to constantly be creating new materials and training materials where necessary to enhance your system.
Okay, this all sounds great, but what are the benefits to the client? How can clients drive revenue through DAM?
So driving revenue through DAM is a really interesting question, because when you start to look at channel sales, they actually account for 75% of all sales on a global basis, according to the WTO. So when you're creating your content, you want to be creating rich, engaging, and consistent content that drives top-line growth through your channel partners. And of course, with all the media fragmentation that continues to happen and will continue to happen, you need to figure out ways to accelerate the distribution of this media to those who need it. And so in there comes automation and integration that we've also talked about. And then of course, because your channel partners still have a variety of needs, there needs to be the ability to produce a variety of materials. Those materials need to have content that can be localized to those specific channel partners' markets. You also need the ability to be able to create personalized campaigns at scale for those channel partners. And then of course, you need to have going back to the metrics again, the analytics to see what's working and what isn't working, so that you can make strategic decisions on how to drive that channel business forward.
Okay, so my last question for you is, if you had to sort of look into your crystal ball, what would we see in the DAM of tomorrow?
When I look at the DAM of tomorrow and I think about how it might be used by our channel partners, I really see digital asset management as being the single source of truth. So I think it'll be integrated into everything, and that's going to be really important for channel marketers and our channel partners, of course. And that integration won't just stop at the MarTech stack at headquarters. I think that integration might continue down through our channel partners, their media channels, and their websites as well. And of course, the more we can automate that process, the more we can drive value. I also think that the DAM user experience is going to continue to move toward a more consumer-friendly experience, right? A more consumer-like experience. Think Pinterest. It's going to be easy to search, more intuitive to find things, and more intuitive for the upcoming digital generation. Last but not least, I can see that artificial intelligence is going to continue to play a major role, and that basically is going to play a role in being able to more intuitively search for and find assets, because we're going to have a much more rich set of metadata associated with our assets. So those are the changes I see coming in the near future.